Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of very interesting things. So, Fuad Abiad did an interview with Steve Weinberger, a head judge of many top shows including Mr. Olympia. You guys know who Steve Weinberger is, and he asked him a bunch of interesting questions. Man, Fuad knows how to ask the right questions. Not trying to suck up to him because he's my sponsor, he's not gonna watch this video probably, but he's the Joe Rogan of bodybuilding podcasts for sure. He really knows how to ask, what to ask these guys, and if you guys follow bodybuilding, or especially if you compete, you must watch this video. You must watch this interview. Go ahead and check it out. But in this video, we're gonna talk about a couple of very interesting things that Steve said in this video. One of them was the question of Nick Walker. So, Fuad asked him, actually somebody asked that question in the Q&A part at the end of the video, what does the head judge of the Mr. Olympia think about Nick Walker? Can he win the Mr. Olympia? Let me play this for you guys first.
Does Steve think Nick can win the Olympia? Nick Walker.
He'd have a hard time. His hands are full. Can't underestimate him, but his shape needs work.
So he's got the muscularity and the condition. It's the
symmetry. You know what I mean?
Back. Yeah.
He's got a rough road ahead of him, honestly.
All right. Well, in so many words, basically what Steve said is he pretty much said no. I mean, he couldn't say no, he can't, he won't, because he's gonna judge him. He can't give us a direct answer like that because he's gonna judge him, and let's say Nick places second, and then maybe some will say that maybe there is some sort of bias involved because he already had a preconceived notion. So what he said is he has a rough road ahead of him, meaning it's gonna be very difficult for Nick to surpass guys who are in the top right now because, of course, of his shape. And we all know that. We all know that Nick doesn't have the best shape. He definitely has a lot of flaws shape-wise. He does have a ton of muscle. He knows how to come in super conditioned. And if the other guys are off with his freak factor, with his conditioning, with his presentation, if it's actually good this time around, anything is possible in my opinion. But I have to agree with Steve, of course. He does have a rough road ahead of him. And the photo that you're looking at right now is a new photo posted by Tariq El-Gindi. Nick shared it on his stories as well. Finally, we get to see Nick under some decent lighting. Lately, all of his posts were probably meant for his coach, right? The check-ins that he's sending his coach bi-weekly, and he just posts them. But this time around, this one is under some decent lighting, so you can get a better idea, a little bit better idea of what he looks like right now. And it's actually looking very good. You know, he looks big, he looks pretty hard, right? And actually, Nick did a Q&A yesterday, and somebody asked him this question, and they said, Judge Steve Weinberger said that you'll have a hard road to win the Mr. Olympia one day. Thoughts? And Nick says, I've always taken the hard road. So Nick didn't really comment much on it, but I'm pretty sure he knows this already as well. He knows, he's aware of his weaknesses and his strengths. And as everybody knows, his weaknesses are his shape, of course, his midsection, which is kinda part of the shape thing, and the size of his quads. But we got this photo that he posted today, and he says, putting a true emphasis on quads during this phase. Slow, controlled reps, pause in the hole and explode up. 4 total sets here, 10 reps each. Pump was solid today for sure. So I'm really glad to see that he's actually putting an emphasis on his quads, and he says a true emphasis. So I guess he's doing whatever it takes to improve them. And at this point, honestly, like, I probably wouldn't mind if he even used some SEO in the legs. I mean, he never really had some super deep cuts, feathers, so if he could do that properly without really like destroying the look of them, if his quads end up looking kind of like, let's say, Big Ramy's quads, who is also kind of, well, let's not say known for, but he's definitely talked about as somebody who did use a lot of oil in their quads. If Nick did that, if he did it the right way and his quad sweep grew, I think it could definitely work in his favor. It wouldn't just improve a lagging body part, but it would actually, aid to the shape thing. I mean, I don't know if he really needs to do that. Maybe by just focusing on training his quads super hard, maybe he will be able to grow them enough. But it's extremely difficult with his insertions in the quads and also with the length of his legs compared to his torso. But if he did whatever he did, if he just grew his legs a little bit more, quads especially from the front, and even more importantly, probably if he controlled his midsection better and somehow got it a little bit smaller, and if he came big, super massive. Based on his Q&A, he's 288 right now. So if he comes in super massive, blasting full, super peeled, shredded, and we also have to assume that the other guys are slightly off. If that happens, I can see Nick winning the Mr. Olympia. But again, the odds are not in his favor. What Steve said is true. He does have a hard road ahead of him. Alright, the next thing is also kinda interesting. So we have an update of Neckzilla. And I know this guy has become basically a joke in the IFBB, a meme. Everybody is sort of making fun of this guy. Nobody's really taking him seriously anymore because he pulled out of like 5 shows this year, something like that. But we got some news, and basically he's now sponsored by Panatta. For those of you who don't know, they are the brand that produces gym equipment, and they are also sponsoring Mr. Olympia. They are one of their biggest sponsors. So I know that Neckzilla had some issues getting that US visa, and he also had some issues getting to Europe, but he got that sorted. And from what I heard from a very reliable source, he's gonna stay in Spain and he's gonna try to get the visa for the US from Spain, which is much easier, much better than doing that from Colombia, where he's originally from. So maybe, and now that he has Panatta as his sponsor, he has a very good chance of getting the US visa. And if he gets it, he can go to the Mr. Olympia. Before he gets to the Mr. Olympia, he needs to qualify for the Mr. Olympia. How will he do that? Which show is his next in plans? Which show he's gonna pull out of next? That's a better question. Well, let me show you which one it is.
This one actually is a good question. What do you think about Neckzilla? Rubio.
You know what? I've seen nothing out of him. I saw him in Prague sitting in the audience. The one thing I'm excited about is he's doing the New York Pro. Hopefully he will be impressive. I mean, he's got short arms. He could be good. He was good when I judged him as an amateur, and he came third as a pro. Potential is there, but I don't know why he's not competing now. I don't know what he's doing. It didn't look like he was training very hard from what I saw. You know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing is he doesn't need any more muscle.
No, but he should be competing.
That's what I mean. Like, he doesn't need any more muscle. So
no, he should be competing.
Why not get on stage?
He looked great when he turned pro. It was 2 years ago in Prague.
All right, so you heard it, guys. Steve Weinberger basically broke the news. The plan for Neckzilla, the next show he's going to pull out of is going to be the New York Pro. I'm just kidding. Maybe he's actually going to do this show. I don't know. But we already know that Michal Krizo is doing that show. I am expecting Nick Walker to possibly do it. As far as Martin Fitzwater, he actually said he was going to do the Pittsburgh Pro. He's going to try to do the Dubai Pro and also FIBO in Germany. That was like one of the biggest expos in the world. And now it's going to be a pro show as well. So Martin doesn't have New York in plans. And we potentially are going to watch Krizo versus Neckzilla rematch. Again, there are like, 5% chances he's actually going to do it, even if he gets the visa. For some reason, this guy just keeps skipping all these shows and pulling out of all of them. I don't know, but the chances are at this point, he pulled out of so many shows, it would just make no sense if he pulled out of another one. So if he plans on doing 6 shows, chances are he's going to do 1 at least. So that show might be actually the New York Pro. He's sponsored by Panatta now, so he might get the visa and everything. So yeah, I'll be hopeful. I'll be optimistic. Let's say he's going to do it. Again, I know all of you guys are going to say there is no chance, but at least that's what his plan is. He never really announced it publicly, but Steve Weinberger knows about it, and he broke the news, and now we know. That's his plan. Will he pull out or not? You guys tell me down below in the comment section. Alright, and the final thing we got is something from Samson. It's not a physique update. We don't get to see what Samson looks like right now, but we can see how heavy he actually is. And this is exactly what I've been telling you guys about Regan Grimes. Regan Grimes is basically Samson's height, and this is Samson's weight in the off season. So at that height, in order to be competitive in the top 5, top 3 at the Mr. Olympia, you need to be 330 pounds in the off season. And I don't know how dramatic this sounds to you, but when I hear 150 kilos, for those of you who are from Europe or other parts of the world where we use the metric system, 150 kilos sounds insane, unimaginable, honestly. So that's crazy weight. That's super, super massive. And apparently right now he is in his growing phase. So he probably had a health phase. He usually does that. Like after the shows, he cleans up completely. That's what he says. He doesn't do any cruising or whatever. He goes off completely. And now he's growing again. And the thing is, he's traveling a lot. He's still traveling. And he managed to bring his weight up this much even while traveling. And he's gonna prep for the Arnold Classic, so I guess his prep already started, basically. Not cutting the weight, not getting in condition already, but, you know, working towards making improvements. And just like what Steve Weinberger said in this interview as well about Samson, like, he doesn't know if we're gonna have a legacy. Because the other guys were kind of off at the Mr. Olympia this year. I mean, Hadi wasn't conditioned from the back. Derek was off completely. His conditioning and his legs weren't as big as his upper body. He wasn't as good as before. So Samson won deservedly for sure. But if the other guys were 20% better, who knows what would have happened. So if Samson wants to continue competing, if he wants to create a legacy, he needs to keep making progress. He needs to get probably, I mean, I don't want to say bigger in terms of like weight, heavier, but if he grows maybe his back a little bit more and can afford to get even more condition without losing any size, then I think he's gonna stay up there for a long time. I think we might have a legacy, actually. It's gonna be extremely difficult. He needs to improve. He needs to be on again, but seeing that he's this heavy already, man, this is promising, you know. I'm expecting a better Samson at the Arnold Classic and even better Samson at a Mr. Olympia next year. It's gonna be crazy, guys. 150 kilos, 330 pounds. Insane, insane. Whatever your thoughts are, guys, tell me down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. For more content like this, guys, please subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to help the brother out to reach that 50k subscriber mark, I would just really appreciate that. And if you guys want to buy the best quality supplements out there, hostile supplements, just use the code EVEN10 for 10% discount. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you soon, all the best, and bye-bye.